And we are back. According to a 2022 study, negative environmental factors and rising temperatures can compound social and economic conditions and lead to higher levels of chronic health problems such as asthma, diabetes, and hypertension in vulnerable low-income communities. Now, with April being Earth Month, HANAC is providing sustainable initiatives for vulnerable populations. And sharing more in this conversation, we've got the Executive Director of HANAC. We've got Stacy Bliagos. And Stacy, good to have you.
Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and so a conversation that really needs to be had. When we talk about what's going on in our community, we know that there are a lot of environmental factors. And to now see the adverse effect that it's actually coming to pass, it's kind of troubling for a lot of people.
It is. It absolutely is. And as a nonprofit that has been around for the last 51 years, not only do we want to provide social service programs that help members of our community, but we want to provide programs that are actually sustainable and helpful to the environment and decrease our carbon footprint. So examples like our weatherization program, where we actually have a state contract that we help low-income homeowners actually assess their home and provide insulation, provide windows that help them reduce their heating bill, reduce factors coming in from outside, provide changes to the boiler, for example, or provide changes to the roof. If anybody knows HANAC, we have had the first passive house in Corona, Queens, and really passive house is just designing in a certain way. There are certain design standards for it, but they potentially cut costs for individuals and provide health benefits up to 90%. Just not only for the tenant, but for the homeowner, and cut energy and consumption up to 90%. So those are very important, not only to tenants' everyday lives and people's everyday lives, but also for the environment that we are all sharing.
When we talk about low-income residents, we know that they suffer from chronic health issues. Plenty of people who are on the Cross Bronx will tell you that the amount of traffic on the Cross Bronx causes a lot of health challenges. When it seems very prevalent that in low-income communities, there seems to be the victimization of environmental injustice. Can you talk about that?
Sure. So, I mean, obviously investing in these building construction buildings and all and these programs obviously does cost money, but ultimately it pays off at the end with helping people live longer lives, live better lives, and not necessarily having to go to so many doctors. And you think you mentioned at the beginning where many people suffer from asthma. You know, having the right environment in your home, whether it's the right windows, keeping certain pollutants out of your home, really can help with that. The noise factor that always occurs, especially in every, not just the Bronx, but in many, all the boroughs, having certain, designing certain having certain design standards, allows individuals to live healthier lives. That even goes down to sleeping patterns, right? Like if you think about it, if you can't sleep at night, how are you going to possibly be a productive member of society during the day and having to go to work? So it goes down to even the most minor issues, but at the end of the day, people may look at it as minor. It's not really that minor.
No, when you talk about not being minor, it's often said that one person's normal is another person's miracle. And when we think about what's going on in people's lives, particularly low-income families, the struggle is really about sustainability. How do I get sustainability in these particular areas? And I'm glad I got you here because I know your organization really does a good job of really trying to provide sustainability for low-income families.
We do. And again, it's just a matter of thinking through the small, again, I use these words like small, and we both agree that they're not small, but when you're trying to conduct these programs, as an organization, we always have an eye of how can we provide an effective program for the community, but also reduce the carbon footprint that our organization leaves. So, for example, our HANAC HANAC Cornerstone program started the first hydroponic lab in the city of New York, right? And that is teaching young kids, young students, how they can actually grow nutritious food in a lab, and also provides them STEM activities at the same time, right? And this is something that, again, this is just an example and it's not minor, but when we're talking about how we can change people's lives for the better and also help the environment, it's really looking at the minor tasks that we're doing and seeing how we can change it and add programs. And that could be through many avenues, but it's creating programs that help individuals, but also provide these sustainability standards. And the weatherization program is one. You wouldn't think about whether the weatherization program that's funded by the state. Our program actually goes in and it installs carbon monoxide detectors. Now, you would think that carbon monoxide detectors are always installed, right? Not so much with lower income individuals that are underserved and need more assistance, right? So it's looking at how we can change the lives of individuals, but also, changing the community. Changing the lives of individuals, but also helping the environment.
I know that one of the great successes that you had is over the Corona Senior Housing. And when we talk about energy initiatives, you're actually able to do some things there. I understand that you were able to cut energy costs by about 90%.
Yeah, I mean, if you think it was the first passive house in the United States for senior residents, so we're very, very proud about that. But when we went into the project, we thought, how can we create a building that is sustainable for the residents and for the environment? And again, it's thinking about boilers and constructing the right windows so that heat doesn't exit. It's having solar panels so that individuals can have heat in the wintertime without necessarily increasing the costs of heating. So it's thinking through all of this, and we did that, and it was the first senior affordable housing in the United States. And we hope to continue with our new developments in the future.
Stacy, how do people access the resources to know whether it's weatherization, whether it's the assistance that you provide? Where are some of the places that they can go to be able to find out the help that's actually available to them? Because if we really put it out there, so many people struggle from really just a lack of access to resources.
So the one thing is that they can absolutely contact us through our website. And even if we are not in their borough or in their district, we would have the resources to actually refer them to other nonprofits that would be able to help them within their resources. So for example, our weatherization program, our contract with the state is to help individuals in Queens. However, if you called our phone number and if you contacted us via email, we would absolutely get you the nonprofit that would help you in your district, whether that's the Bronx, whether that's Manhattan. So we would actually be able to connect you with those resources. So just because most of our offices are based in Queens, we can absolutely help you if you contact us by phone or through our website, because we can connect you with the right people in your borough, can provide you that immediate help and resources.
Stacy Bliagos, Executive Director of HANAC, thank you so much for being with us, and want to have you back again sometime to talk a little bit more about this, but great information here. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All righty. And we want to let you know, if you want more information, visit the website at hanac.org. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more show, more opens coming up right after this.